Okay, are we live?
This is me.
Okay, we're live. Welcome everybody to the live stream. And after YouTube being such a bitch, we are live. And today we are gonna cover a lot of different topics. I have two newbies with me today. They're frankly great. I hope you guys will love them. Firstly, we have Saul. Saul, what's going on? How are you?
Hey man, how's it going? Good, good. Hello everyone at Barca Buzz. Happy to be here. A lot to talk about today.
Yep. And the second member we have with us today is Trey. What's up, man?
So man, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, so we are live and we have a lot of chat movement and a lot of viewers. Today we're going to be talking about updates on the Kounde situation, what replacements we have on him, the upcoming El Clasico, all that good stuff. So stay tuned. Before we begin our first topic, should we address the chat? I think we should. Let me see. Hola, Coolers. Welcome, man, to the stream. We have more. I just seen Barca Universal's Twitter account post some weird shit. Yeah, the chick. Yeah, guys, the OnlyFans chick wearing the Barca jersey for the Barca previous Barcelona match. It's been everywhere. People are repping her, setting her as AVIs, basically being down bad for her. And I have no idea why BU posted that. Well, I don't know much about that. So next one, and and on my mommy, I freaked out and was like, "What?" And yeah, I get it. What
Hey
can be?
Sagnik, hey guys.
Oh, Pulkit, what's up?
Hey man, hey guys. How you doing? Surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a surprise, and welcome everybody.
Yeah.
I need to edit your at in later. So Pulkit, meet the two
Correct.
new guys. We have Saul and Trey, both from the USA, and
Hey
I
Saul,
have
hey Trey, how you doing? Good morning,
yeah.
guys.
Good,
Good morning, man.
good, Polka. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to
Yeah,
meet you
you
guys.
too.
Yeah, yeah. Go on,
Okay,
Sagnik. Go on. Yeah.
wait, man about Barca just texted me that he wants to join as well. So
Definitely,
I'm
man. I think
I'm
we will
gonna
have
ask
full
him to
house in a
join as well.
Monday.
Okay, this is gonna be a great episode, guys. It looks like. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so sad about Kounde. Okay, let's all watch porn together. No thanks.
Are we switching on the videos as well, or is audio
No,
only?
no, no, not today. Not today, bro. Today it's just gonna
Only
be
audio.
an audio episode.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sad about Kounde. Well, yeah, but in my opinion, Chelsea did pay a big fat amount on him, and it is really, frankly, very risky to pay that much. It's 65 million euros, and I'm just gonna ask you guys about your thoughts on it. So
Yeah, I think.
let's start with Pulkit. What
Yeah,
about?
sorry. So I think also not just the bid. I think Kounde might have been offered a little more money and wages also from
Yeah,
Chelsea. Even though we heard the news, we read that he has spoken to Xavi a lot of times and he wants to come to Barca. That's what he communicated to Barca and to Xavi. But
yeah,
I think it might be like two reasons. Firstly, of course, the wages offered were lower from Barca. Chelsea were offering higher wages, and also I think he could not wait much longer because Sevilla's preseason was also starting. No,
yeah,
so I think those two reasons might be. He might be thinking, okay, I don't know whether Barca is going to pay that much or not, and I need to respect the club Sevilla as well, and I'm getting more money in Chelsea, so why not go there? I think also because of Christensen, PK, Eric, and Araujo, he must have
yeah,
thought not sure about the game time. Also, like they'll in Chelsea, of course, they just got Koulibaly and now Kounde, so these two will be their starting centre backs. So he's like, I'll probably get more game time, regular game time. So yeah. What about you, Saul? What do you think?
I think we dodged the bullet. Kunde, I rate him not as good as some of the other guys we have, but I think that it was just too much money. It was too much in wages. I think we're decent in center back, especially if we get Espilicueta. It's about four deep now, so I think we're good with Christensen and Araujo being the starters for this season at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I do agree that it's not the end of the world that we couldn't sign Kounde because he's not Maldini, let's face it, lads. And our current Arsenal is not half bad either, not as bad as people are making it out to be. But I think, Saul, what's your opinion? We need to know. Hello?
Mine, I just gave mine. Do you want to trace?
Yeah. Just what's your opinion about the Kounde thing?
Yeah, I think we're good without him. I think Christensen has been is decent in preseason. I think he can be a lot better as the season gets underway. And then Araujo, I think, was probably our breakout star last season. He was really good for most of the season. So I think we're set for now.
Exactly. And about the replacements of Kounde, because many sources have said that we will sign a center back this window no matter what happens. So we have some names on the table, the most convincing of which is Inigo. Sadly, it is quite a downgrade, but I think he's a little bit overhated. Also, another thing is that number one, he is 31 years old, something which Pulkit of all people is very
Yeah,
bummed
yeah,
about. Yeah,
yeah. If of course, man. Like there is no way that I'm gonna pay more than 10 million.
yeah,
More
yeah.
than
That's
10
the
million.
other
10
thing.
is
His
also a big stretch for a 31-year-old having 1 year left in his contract. I mean,
yeah,
Rishabh is I think the only person who's in favor of this. I don't get it, Rishabh. If you're listening to it, please have an intervention with yourself. This is not the deal I'm going to go through. I would rather not sign anyone because we have Eric, PK, Araujo, Christensen. So
yeah,
I would
and
rather,
yeah,
and
and
we'll
here's
probably
the
get
other
happy
thing.
as well.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
me throw in some numbers. Here's the other thing. His market
yeah.
value, Inigo's market value is 22 million pounds, which is roughly 25 million euros. His release clause is 80 million euros. And Athletic Bilbao really don't want to part ways with him. And according to some reports, they want 60 million for him, for a player who is 31 years old and who is free next season.
LOL, Sagnik. Yeah.
So there's that. What are you guys' opinions? Saul, let's start with you this time about Inigo.
Yeah, on Inigo, it's too much money. I think we have four decent center backs. They can lead us through this season, and I think you have to use La Masia for the rest, right? So you have Araujo and Christensen. They're going to be the main guys this season. And then if we get a Spilicueta, you add him onto Pique and Garcia. But I think we're set. Especially in the center back. I don't think it's one of our bigger needs. So I think we should focus on somewhere else, like Bernardo, especially with the lever being activated today. I think that's what the future is. It's not defense. I think we're set for now.
Yeah, exactly. And what about you, Trey?
I'm not too fond on Inigo at all. I mean, I know I've seen some people say that he is overhated, that he's been one of the best center backs in La Liga over the past couple of years, but he's 31. Atletico Bilbao's asking for an absurd amount of money for him, money that Barca shouldn't and shouldn't even consider paying. So I'm not fond of him as well. Like Sal said, we should allocate that money elsewhere, either for a new midfielder like Bernardo, who's been long on Barca's radar, or even another center back or another fullback. Center back might be especially, actually, center back and fullback might be especially expensive because
Yeah,
there's
you're
just
right,
not a
man.
lot
You're
of
right.
there's
Yeah,
just
you're
not a
right.
lot of
Yeah, yeah.
cost friendly options out there, which sucks. But that's the market we're in, and Barca's going to have to pay the cash if they want to get these players. So
Yeah,
who
yeah. I
knows?
would rather
Who knows?
invest in a left back actually or a right back. You're right. I
Yeah,
would rather invest in a full back. Definitely.
yeah. About
Mhm.
the fullback situation, we'll address this a little bit later. But firstly, there's some chat movement. Sway Swasta says, I think Inigo Martinez is a good player, but 60 millions is a bit too much for him. He's a killer like Pepe and Ramos. That's good. Yeah, 100%. And here is where something interesting comes in. Gerard Romero has said that Alemany has verbal agreement with Inigo that next season when his contract expires, he will join Barca as a free agent. That would be a steal, not paying 60 millions right now for him. And Silent Moon, our OG supporter, he is back to watch us live. Oi, oi, having a bad day, guys. I have no problem with missing out on Kounde as long as we get another world-class centre-back. Messi fan says,
Yeah.
yeah, Evan Messi fan says Evan Ndika is available at 15 million. Why not him? We will discuss more about this. There are some names on the table. Some names I can't say because they are from insider sources which have to be confidential. But I need to assure all of the coolers that do not worry. We will sign one world-class centre back or another in this transfer window. And watchers get Azpilicueta and they are like, we are set in the defense. Well, Azpilicueta is coming no matter what. I mean, we will try for Azpilicueta no matter what. He is someone we will try regardless of the fact if we go for another centre back or not. Uh,
I think when Kounde signs for Chelsea, Sagnik, I think Aspi will come.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Especially now that Chelsea getting Kounde. Well, apparently. So.
yeah,
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, we are literally taking everything from Chelsea, aren't we? Their future goals, their current
Yeah.
players, everybody.
Rafinha, Christensen.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
literally everyone. Messi
So,
fans
like,
says,
I don't know whether you've discussed this or not, but what do you think about Rafinha's performance in that game?
yeah, it's definitely great in my opinion. Let
Yeah.
us know in the live chat, what do you guys think of the new signing, Rafinha, and how he has been serving us? 2 assists and 1 goal, and overall a great match. Many shots on
Yeah.
target. Love to see him. The Brazilian flair, all that. Why we have to sell players immediately to sign Kounde? Didn't get it, to be honest. Well, Tom, we don't. We actually don't have to sell players to sign Kounde. I am going to brief you about what the financial levers are going to turn out to be in a few seconds. Gopal Nair says, we have the cash. I hope we don't get Kounde. Pau Torres is an option. Yep, exactly. We are getting back on track. Let me read out to you guys what the financial levers are uh, in a very brief format. So hold on, let me just find the tweet. Yeah, so everyone, first lever was 267 million euros, which helped Barcelona close the 2021 to 2022 season with profits. Second lever was 400 million, which got activated today, which ended the FFP restrictions, the 3:1 and 4:1 FFP restrictions. You can read up about them on our Barca Buzz website. 200 million from this can be used for transfers. Now, guys, in this window, we signed Kessie and Christensen for free. We signed Lewandowski for 45 million fixed and 5 million add-ons. Rafinha was bought for 58 million euros fixed and 9 million in variables. Of our future targets, Bernardo Silva will only be brought in if we sell Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong, by the way, since we're talking about the centre back situation, played really good at centre back on our match versus Inter Miami, something which I'm sure Saul watched because he lives in Miami. And 200 million can be used for transfers, from which we have barely used half. So I can assure you guys, we will sign a world-class centre back. And the third lever will be 200 million. 100 million is needed to register the signing. So we are all set. So Tom, we do not need to sell players immediately to sign more players. We do have the finances. So guys,
I
speaking
think
about,
also we need to sell Sagnik because of the wage bill, don't you think?
yeah, just a few players like Umtiti, we tried to sell to Renes, but it did not materialize.
Frankie also, right? Frankie
Yeah,
also because
Frankie
of
de
the
Jong.
wages only.
Yeah, Frankie de Jong we need to sell, but he does not want to go to Manchester United. I really hope
Yeah.
Eric Ten Hag can, since they actually want him a lot, I really hope that Eric
Maybe
Ten Hag,
Chelsea can also sign him, man. Even Chelsea can sign him. They need a CM as well. So yeah, but let's
yeah,
see.
and
Yeah, go on.
Pau Torres is another option. Some people rate him better than the Inigo, but I personally don't. I think Inigo is slightly better than Pau Torres. Of course,
Pau is young, no. Pau
Yeah,
is
he
young.
has
That's the
more
whole.
potential. Yeah, he has more potential. What about you, Trey? What do you think? Who's better, Inigo or Pau Torres?
I think Inigo. Um, I actually think Pau Torres could actually overtake his current level in maybe a year or two. I just don't really like Pau. I just don't like either. I really don't really rate Pau Torres either. I think he's
Yeah,
a bit too overhyped, way too overhyped. Uh,
yeah.
Maybe
I
because
think
his
I
style that's
personally, yeah,
adaptable to
100%
different
relate to you. I 100% relate to you
leagues.
because I do not want to make this choice at all. But
Hmm.
where we are right now, we have to. So, Saul, what about you? What's your opinion? Inigo or Pau Torres?
Yeah, the Indigo is slightly better. I think Torres is, when you said, has a lot more potential. I think Torres, Xavi can make Torres a much better player, but I think signing neither would be best. I think putting the money towards, I mean, someone in midfield, because we need someone there. Even if Frankie De Jong doesn't leave, you need to get either a younger player or someone maybe not as good as Bernardo, but someone to compete in there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I'm with you guys. Basically, I wouldn't want us to spend 50, 60 million on Pau, who maybe only becomes an average sort of thing, or maybe another Garcia-esque player. Of course, a lot of Garcia, I think, gets a lot of stick, more than he really deserves. I think Garcia is above average, to say the least. People call him below average or whatever. He's decent enough. But I wouldn't spend 50, 60 on Pau when I can maybe spend that much money next summer and get someone better than Pau Torres. For me, I would rather just get Aspi for now, if not Kounde, just get Aspi, get through this season somehow, and then sign a world class centre back next season.
yeah, you 100% have a point. But let me just intervene and say, guys, we have over 20 people watching us, but we only have 9 likes on the video, and one of them is from me. What is this insanity? Guys, drop a like if you're enjoying the episode till now because it really helps out with interactions. And Man About Barca is here with us. No, man, for today's episode, we do not have cameras on. Everybody, welcome the admin of Mad About Barca, one of the best pages of Barca news on Twitter and Instagram. Go ahead and follow him on both the platforms. So, welcome, MAB. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me right now?
Yep, everything is working fine. Your microphone is great. We were just
Yeah,
talking about the defender situation, about Kounde not coming. Tom here asks, so what's the main issue? The main issue, Tom, with Kounde is Chelsea are paying 65 million euros for him, something
It's
which
done. It's done.
Barcelona don't.
Telegraph has reported it's done.
Yeah,
Telegraph has reported now it's done. 55 million for Kunde.
55 million pounds, which is roughly
yeah,
65
that's
million euros.
pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And there
so
might be variable, which we don't know.
exactly. Something which Barca do not want to match. If we look at Barcelona's spending pattern on defenders, the highest the transfer amount Barcelona ever paid for a defender was 35 million, and it was for Longley, followed
Mhm.
closely by Nelson Semedo, who was also around 35 million. So, what are your thoughts, guys? Like, I know that Barcelona is a very attacking minded team. Our defense has always been above average, never the best in the world. And about the
Mhm.
low spending pattern on the defense, since MAB joined us right now. So, let's start with you, bro. What do you think?
Okay, so basically, if we are just talking about the last decade or so, if you're talking about the last decade, I don't think that we've really needed to, sign that expensive marquee defender since like before maybe in 2018 we needed someone after Umtiti got injured and we signed Langley. But other than that, I think that mostly we did not have a requirement for a defender because obviously Gerard Piqué was there for the better part of the decade, and we had some decent partners with him. There was Mascherano, there was of course Carlos Puyol at the start, and then there was Umtiti as well. Umtiti at his best, of course, he was a beast.
Yeah, the World
So
Cup season. Yeah, one of the best defenders. What a decline.
yeah, and other than that, I think that in the past, if we don't look at today's inflated market, we have spent on defenders before, but not specifically under John Laporta, because Laporta, maybe he has a bit of a attacking mindset, and that's shared by the coaches at Barcelona as well. Because even though, for example, Frank Rijkaard, if you remember, even though he had a decent set of defenders, his focus was always to create more and more chances. He was, a proper Dutchman. So under Laporta, there haven't been a lot of defensive signings, of course, but before that in history, I think Coman, when he was signed, he was also one of the most expensive transfers back then. So it's not about spending as much on defense. It's just about the inflated market and the modern era in which we didn't really need to buy a very expensive over-the-top defender.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. But in the chat, we have some movement. Can we know the exact reason why we have not put in a bid? Because I'm sure Kounde would come to us over Chelsea if the bid was accepted. Well, the thing is, Sevilla already told Barcelona that if we did not match the 65 million euros offer made by Chelsea, they would not consider selling Kounde. So Barcelona did not want to match. Look, realistically, we had to pay at least 70 million euros, right? One step bigger than this is not Atletico Madrid that will just offer 1 million euros more than the current bid. So 70 million euros is something which the club did not want to spend on Kounde. Otherwise, Sevilla made it clear that they would not be selling the defender to Barcelona. But do not worry, guys. We have news from sources. There are other defenders which Barcelona are focused on. And here is the next question, which directly correlates to this one. It is that what's the possibility of Inigo Martinez to Barca? So we talked about this a little bit before, that Inigo Martinez is a little bit overpriced because his release clause is 80 million. The asking price for him is asking price for him is 60 million, while his market value is only 25 million. Plus, he has only 1 year left on his contract, after which there is a verbal agreement with
And
Matteo Alemany that he
and
will
he's
come to
31
us
years
for
old.
free. Yeah, he's 31 years old. One of the best defenders in La Liga for sure, but very overpriced. Do you agree with me, maybe?
Yeah, I've
Not really,
basically
man.
spent the entirety of today researching about Inigo Martinez because I haven't watched a lot of him. I'm going to be honest, and most of the reports, the scouting and all that tactical stuff, most of it I could find for him was back from 2014, 15, his Sociedad days. So I really couldn't get the perfect picture of how he is right now. But I talked to one of my buddies who actually lives in Bilbao, and he goes to the games and all that stuff. He's basically a mega fan, and he was full of praise for the guy. And personally, from everything that I read, and I'm once again saying my judgment on him is not 100% accurate because obviously I haven't seen a lot of him, but I think that he would be a great acquisition because he's done well in La Liga. But of course, there is the question of his ball playing ability, and to pair him up with Araujo, who's not exactly the best at it himself. We all know of Araujo's flaws with the ball, even though he's improving quite a lot ever since Ronald Koeman came to the club. But still, to pair him up with Araujo, I think it would be a bit of a risk. And
Yeah,
60 million for him, that's definitely too much.
yeah. And given our current situation with centre backs, I think unless Araujo gets injured for a long time, we are pretty much set. But that's also, I'm not saying that a signing of a new defender is ruled out. I've said it 100 times that someone is definitely coming, a world-class centre back. We have news.
I think, Sagnik, I think we have we can surely say that we will see another alumni masterclass in terms of world class defender this summer. It's possible, very much possible.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah. Let's see
is.
who he brings in, but it's very much possible, I believe.
Yeah, and you would be correct. And we have Shashank. Hey, man, welcome. Welcome back,
Hey,
more likely.
is he the Eric Garcia hater, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
and Sway
this guy.
says, "What do you think about Milan Skriniar? He is great, obviously, but uh,
One,
yeah, he is on our radar. But I don't think we will end up signing him because some clubs like
Mhm.
PSG are interested in him. If I'm not wrong."
I think it's
Man,
really
really
expensive also, I believe, more than Kounde. The
Yeah,
asking price at least. Let's see.
yeah, he would be a very good signing in my eyes. He was a cheat code for the ones who played UCL Fantasy League last season. He was a cheat code. He was that good. Yeah. Can you just give us hints of the player coming, maybe? It's not one player. We have some players on our list which we are going for. And no, I cannot give you hints because
Yeah,
it,
Rishta will kill.
yeah,
Rishta will curse.
no, there's that. Plus, it's not really 100% reliable news. You know, these rumors circulate around. There's, of course, MAB will know he is also a fellow admin, but you cannot just go out and say these. There's a reason why these are a little bit confidential. It's that there is
Mm.
movement, just not very concrete movement. But we will sign a center back 100% by the end of this window. That is guaranteed.
Okay, let me ask one question from everyone. What will be your ideal front three for next season? If we haven't discussed this already, then we can maybe
Yeah,
discuss about it.
yeah, it's a very good question. Firstly, secondly, we have a lot of chat movement which we need to address. There are two
Okay, okay.
names. There are two names which have come up: Endika and Salisu from Southampton.
hmm.
These two people are
Oh,
saying we should go for these two. What are your
I think
guys'
I've heard of
opinion?
Jerusalem.
Yeah, go on, man.
I could
Uh,
jump in here.
hello, you were saying, bro?
Yeah, I don't. They're too young, to be Eric Garcia all over again. Both
Hmm.
Salisu and Ignacio, they're not exactly finished products, which is what we need, and they probably wouldn't play either. If we have Christensen and Araujo, they're going to be the starters. If we add someone else, it's going to be rotation based, just like PK and Garcia would be. So I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't see it. I can't see it.
yeah, I really can't see it either. Like Saul said, they're really young, and what what position, advantageous position, does the club have for young center backs? I mean, there's so much competition ahead of them. PK is ahead of them. Garcia is ahead of them. Christensen's ahead of them. That's three center backs. And I know PK is dealing with injury issues, but even when he's healthy, Chavi's going to at least give him a look more times than not. So I just don't see the point of bringing in a super young center back when they need game time over here.
yeah, I'm with these two, man. I'm with these two.
And can I just interject something?
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
I
yeah, go on.
think you would find it interesting. And even though I'm not going to reveal the full details yet, of course, because I think it's better not to right now.
Yep.
But since yesterday about this whole Kounde situation, I've been talking with a certain journalist, and of course, I'm not going to name him, but I think that he's quite credible. I'm not going to say anything more about him, but he's been telling me that keep a close eye out for William Saliba, because even though Arsenal right now don't plan to sell him, but Barcelona have multiple times in the past both talked to his environment, and Barcelona have sent people to look at him. Now, there's no concrete talks or anything like that yet, but
Mhm.
since Gerard Romero also mentioned him in his stream yesterday, it really got me thinking. So, keep a close eye out for Saliba. I'm not
But
saying deal could happen because obviously Arsenal would demand too much
but I
money,
think
but Barcelona do like him.
yeah, but I think he's isn't he like about to renew his contract with Arsenal?
Yeah,
Well,
I
if
mean,
we
that's
try
exactly what
to
I'm
sign
saying.
him,
Arsenal want to keep him.
yeah, if we
Okay,
try,
okay.
maybe he won't. So there's that. So, guys, you're hearing it here. Barca Buzz and MAB exclusive. You heard the name.
Yeah,
And
yeah, man.
this guy asks, Egert, can you say what is going on with our current debt? How big is it right now? Well, of course, there are some aspects which are more long term. It's not something really it's not a small topic which we can cover in a few minutes in the podcast. It needs a dedicated video or a dedicated episode in itself. But for short term, I will put up this image on your screen about what the financial levers are going to bring us. It's a Barsaba's tweet, something we tweeted a little bit earlier, something which will help you get an idea of what's going on with the finances at the club. Close intricate details about long-term debt, etc., is going to be discussed on a later episode, but not today because that would take up too much time. So there's the image, you can check it out. And Gopal says, are they good CBs at least? Of course, you heard MAB, you heard us. Uh, Leva, Ansu, and Rafina. That would be his front three. Yeah, a very good front three, of course. What would yours be, MAB? Your front three next
Lewandowski
season?
center, Lewandowski in the center. Of course, I don't think you need any explanation for that because well, he's Lewandowski. And on the right, I would go with Rafinha because well, I think I've been here on the streams and even on the podcast in the past, and you already know my feelings about Dembele. So I'm just going to go with Rafinha because I think that maybe he can bring more to this side because Dembele and Rafinha, they have different skill sets, but personally, I would prefer if Rafinha played the majority of the minutes over Dembele. And on the left, I'm going to go with Ferran Torres because he is a killer in the box, and some of his
Exactly.
runs, some of his movements last season, they were just astonishing to watch. And I don't understand how people can criticize him this much, especially considering what I think have been some very decent, a very decent 6 months for him after joining the club. I mean, it's
Yeah,
spectacular.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you, but I just want to point out one thing. So, MEB, man, you see that Ferran is like almost like a second striker because he likes to come inside from the wing, whether he's on the left or the right, right?
Yeah.
So, and Levy already is a number 9 and out number 9. And I think Rafinha also likes to come inside and takes shots and take on defenders and stuff like that. So it'll be like 3 second strikers. I mean, like 2 second strikers along with Levy. So like 3 strikers and all. So for to balance it out, I would play for Levy in the center, one of Rafinha or Ferran on either side of the wing, and one would for me would be Dembele or Ansu. I would rather go for Ansu because I have a lot of love for Ansu Fati. So it'll be either Rafinha, Levy, Ansu or Ferran, Levy, Ansu because I do not want like 3 strikers. Because then we'll be exposed on the wing if there's a counter attack or something like that.
Yeah, but
Uh,
Rafinha can go both ways because even though his goal scoring numbers are immaculate, they're very good, but you can also see the amount of chances he creates from the wings.
exactly.
So
That
he
Dembele
can go
also
both
creates.
ways.
Yeah, I know that, but Dembele also creates a lot of chances. He's I think the highest assist maker last season in La Liga or second highest, something like that. I don't remember
Yeah,
that, but
Dembele had the highest, I think. Yeah.
yeah, and he played I think half season only, right? The
Yep.
second half of the season,
Also,
he did
something
his
which
first
is
half.
great about Dembele is that we all saw
To
the match
balance
versus
my
Inter Miami. He could actually finish
yeah,
this time.
yeah, and to balance my front three, to have a balanced front three, I would have two like one striker, of course, Levy, one second striker, and maybe Rafinha or Ferran, and third would be for me Ansu because I like Dembele, but I just have a soft corner for Ansu. A little bias there from my side. What do you think? Try.
Trey.
I think I would probably have Fati on the left, mostly because I don't think he's prone to be cutting inside as often as somebody like Ferran Torres on the left.
Yeah,
He's a bit more of a playmaker as well. So I like
yeah,
Ansu on the left. I like Lua down the 9, central forward, of course, for obvious reasons, and I like Rafinha on the right. I mean, I
yeah.
know
I'm with you.
you're talking a lot
Yeah,
about balance, but
yeah,
Rafinha can give you more than Dembele in the finishing aspect. He can also create as well. So I like that. That's my front
yeah,
three.
yeah, yeah. You're
Although
right.
there's a lot of options, so I'm excited about the attack either way.
Yeah. What about you, Saul?
Yeah, I think the front three, at least for the start of the season, has to be Fati, Lewandowski, and then Dembele. I think we need Xavi's going to try to stretch the field, at least to start. Try to stretch, make
Hmm.
the wide players stretch as much as they can to get Lewandowski some space and open up those center backs. So I think that way, if you put in those two, that's our best chance to at least to start the season, see how it goes and all that.
Yeah,
And then
interesting.
that,
Interesting. Yeah,
Also,
yeah, and I
yeah.
think that would be ideal. And they have speed, so
yeah,
Yep.
maybe
yeah.
start there.
Okay,
So are
by
we
the
still
way,
saving the best for the last? Agnik, your front three.
My front three, I'll get to that in a minute, but there's a question which is flooding our chat box which needs immediate attention. MAB,
Yeah.
I'll ask you directly. Is there any shot for Barca anymore to sign Jules Kounde? That's what our chat has been flooded with. Any last second deal possible? Is it 100% impossible? Is there any chance Barca will sign Kounde anymore? What is your opinion? And what are the
No,
news?
no.
Honestly,
Signed for
no.
Chelsea. Telegraph have reported it. He signed for Chelsea. It's
Yeah,
all done.
yeah. I just want them to hear it from MAB because he is a page admin. Hello.
Yeah, I'm sorry to let you all down, but no, I think that even yesterday, people were laughing, even though I respect Gerard Weah a lot, but yesterday night when he was obviously creating all that hype around Kounde again, and we were all hyped as well after he went to Portugal and Chelsea were apparently not happy with all that. Even when I was mentioning that, people were laughing. People were like, okay, he went to Portugal, but in even so, Chelsea are so ahead of Barcelona right now in signing Kounde that the club, honestly, it does not contemplate sign it right now. It's moving on to alternatives, and of course, there's all of that stuff. And today, even more so because Barcelona have activated the waivers for almost 2 days, and right now, Alemani, as per the reports, he's already called Athletic Bilbao for Inigo Martinez, and Barcelona are already working on the alternatives. So no, I think that Jules Kounde will be 90%. He will be a Chelsea player. 10%. I don't know. Stranger things have happened in football before, but I don't know. I don't see it happening personally, but we'll still see.
Yeah, many people saying we should go all in for Kounde. 70 million euros apparently is a great investment for Kounde. I honestly don't think so. 70 million is a huge price tag. We paid
No, no,
58
yeah.
million for
No,
Rafinha.
either. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. No, not more than 50 for Kounde for me.
Yeah, especially in a club
It'd be
like
better to
Barca.
put those 70 million towards Bernardo. It's way
Yeah,
too
yeah.
much. It'd be better to spend on somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, the Bernardo
But I would,
thing is directly dependent
I
on
would,
Frankie de Jong.
yeah,
yeah.
I would Bernardo if we sell Frankie because I'll be too much crowded in midfield, no? And we have
Yeah,
wages also Frankie.
True.
So I would only sign Bernardo if we sell Frankie. I have no problems with Frankie otherwise.
yep.
I just
And
don't really.
yeah,
No, go ahead.
and by the way, guys, if anyone is interested in our current finances, a full article about it is on our website. The link to that is currently updated in our description. Shashank says, my front three, Aubameyang, Lewandowski, and Dembele. Silent Moon, that's a good front three. Aubameyang and Lewandowski together, though, given the fact that we do have other options like Ferran, I am not
And
really sure.
that's a Dortmund front three, guys.
Yeah, I think that's what he intended for us to realize.
Yeah.
Silent Moon says, not gonna
And
lie, yeah, go on. Hello.
I think that might work. Levy, Oba, and Dembu is because of their dynamics. And we've seen Oba and Dembele link up very well. So maybe they link up with Lewandowski very well as well. Might work for some games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Silent Moon says, I would say the only way we can have a chance to get Kounde if he himself pushes for a move to Barca. Well, Barca hasn't even submitted a bid, and they probably won't. So, this is my advice. Move on. That's
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
realest
I'm
piece of
just going to
advice I
add
can
one
give
thing
you.
here.
Yeah,
If
go
you
on.
want, I can add one thing here
Of
because
course.
honestly, one of the reasons I think, it's my personal opinion, that Barcelona eventually did not go for the bid for Kounde is because in this market we've already seen a pattern that Barcelona have talked to players they're interested in, and if the player is interested back, then Barcelona have just said to them, hold on, try not to look for any other offers, and we will come get you. That happened with Lewandowski because he gave the interview all the way back in May that he wanted to leave, and we signed him in July. So that's 2 months. 2 months in which, of course, Lewandowski received two major offers from
Yeah,
PSG,
yeah, yeah.
Chelsea, and even with
Right.
Rafinha, we of course all know the story. So with Kounde, there was not that. I think that both Sevilla and Kounde a bit were putting pressure on the club, because even Gerard Romero yesterday, he was saying that Barcelona are telling him to wait, wait, wait,
Yeah, I think you might be
and
right.
he was just not willing to wait. And Barcelona said, "All right, if we're going to be spending 70 million on him, and he's pressurizing us, and of course, there's the leaks that he's not happy with the, matlab, he is happier with the terms Chelsea has given him, and I think that's intentional to leak that, to put pressure on Barcelona to offer him more money, and I don't
Hmm.
think the club was happy with that. So if
I think
this
you're right.
summer,
Yeah, you might be.
if anyone wants to join Barcelona, it has to be Barcelona or nothing. Otherwise, I think the club is just going to move on.
Yeah.
And
Raghav
the club
says,
is in the
yeah, go on.
position of just keep going up in bidding wars anyway. So as soon as the whole tactic of leaking stuff to get Barca to start paying more at the table came out, then it just became lost cause for Barca. They're just not going to be in bidding wars right
Yeah. Also, I think you're right. Maybe even Levy said in his presentation it wasn't easy to come here. You remember that quote? So he maybe hinted
Yeah,
towards,
yeah.
he had
There
to
was a
wait.
lot of
Yeah,
resistance from Bayern.
yeah, resistance, and he had to
Plus,
like
he took a
make it
wage
clear
cut.
to Bayern that I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to renew with you, and I won't accept any other. Maybe PSG and Chelsea were offering a higher bid than ours, and Levy was adamant to join Barca. So he said that it wasn't easy. I mean, yeah, he laughed about it, but yeah, it must not have been easy. So with Rafinha as well, I think Chelsea offered him more money,
now.
and of course Chelsea offered Leeds more money as well, right? But of
Yeah,
course
and a bigger
Deco,
salary.
yeah, and of course Deco was the agent who, of course, played for Chelsea as well. But the player already wanted to come here, and we've seen in the presentation it was his childhood dream and stuff. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for Dembele also that he accepted a wage cut. Maybe it might have been because no other club wanted to sign him. Maybe that's the reason, but he did stay. So, and without any commission for that Musa Sissoko guy's agent. This was
Yeah,
hilarious and Aliman masterclass. So
yeah,
the
No,
player,
there was actually. I'm just going to interject.
yeah,
Even though the common conception is that Dembele did not have any offers, that's not completely true. Dembele did have offers. I mean, I don't think that it's came out to the mainstream, but I am certain about this, and this is my feeling. But Dembele did have offers. Of course, nobody was going to offer him as high as 40 million a year as he originally wanted, because he's obviously not worth that much. But he did have offers, and even I guess they must have been slightly higher than Barcelona. It's clear that even though I'm someone who does not like Dembele at the moment, but Dembele still showed a lot of will to stay, because he did have other offers, but it's reiterated even by Fabrizio Romano. He also claims that the will of the player was to push to stay, and I think that if he openly rejected Barcelona's offer, he could have gotten even more offers, not the offers he wanted, but clubs like Chelsea, etc.
yeah, might
I
be.
think they could have made a move for him.
There was
So
one offer actually when Mbappe was settled on Real Madrid. They offered Dembele a deal, PSG basically. So I think that was the most lucrative offer he had. But then of course Mbappe decided to stay, and he became
yeah,
Mr. the President of that he's the president, the prime minister, everything of France. So yeah. So then the Dembele deal kind of course, took a backseat for PSG. So yeah. Anyway, I think we're deviating. So yeah, what's the chat movement like, Sagnik?
yeah. The chat movement. Raghav says if we are unable to pay 60 million for Kounde, then we won't be able to sign any quality centre back because all the alternatives would cost the same. Well, as MAB already said, well, first of all, um, Kounde was bought for 65 million by Chelsea. We would at least have to pay 70 million euros for him. And as MAB also said just some time before, Barca in this transfer window has been like, if you want to earnestly come to Barca and only Barca, we will come get you. And Kounde was applying pressure, playing with both the teams, Barca and Chelsea. He had apparently a slightly more inclination to go to Chelsea, them giving him a more lucrative offer, salary, etc. So it was really up to Kounde. Barcelona didn't put a bid for him for a reason. That's what I want to say. Gopal
Thing
says,
is,
yeah, go
one
on.
question. What's your midfield? What's your midfield three or maybe four if you wanna play a 3-4-3? So what? Let's start with the 4-3-3. What's your midfield three?
Well,
How will you go on? How will you
that's a
go on
really
first? Yeah.
tough.
Yeah,
Hello.
I guess the first, let me. I would probably go with. I think Busquets is going to start the season. Xavi just he trusts him too much. Even if not a
Mhm.
lot of us would agree with that. I think it's going to be Busquets. It'll be Frankie De Jong and be Pedri. At least to start the season. I think other than Christensen, I don't think any of the new signings are going to start right away. Um,
Yeah.
Especially Xavi wants to
What
get
about you?
his tactics
Maybe what
right.
about
So
you?
I think it'll be those three.
What about you? Maybe what about you? Midfield three.
Busquets, De Jong, and Pedri. I mean, that's the optimal midfield. You cannot go better than that, even though Koeman had that for almost a year. But if you utilize these three together in harmony, as Xavi was able to do for a while with Gavi on the bench, I think it's the optimal midfield. There is no improvement needed, even though we also have Cassier, who's also going to be a very good addition to the midfield. But as starters, if I had to pick any three to start, it would be Busquets, Pedri, and De Jong, no doubts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Three.
Um, I think I go with the same trio as MAB and Saul mentioned, but I am kind of like intrigued what Xavi really thinks about De Jong playing as some more of a center midfielder instead of a CDM and a double pivot. Because when he's played as a center mid in maybe a 4-3-3 or a three-man midfield, he just hasn't really clicked for him. So I'm interested to see if Xavi will actually look to start Kessie more as a center mid in a 4-3-3. He's looked good in that role so far this preseason, albeit against worse competition. But if he looks good against some of the better competition as preseason goes on, then I don't know. Maybe Kessie starting over De Jong wouldn't be out of the question. But yeah, but for now, I'll just go with the trio that MAB and Salsa.
Yeah, that's because while Kessier, he's good on the ball as well, but he likes to make movements, or he's more box to box. Whilst
Hmm.
Frankie De Jong loves to carry the ball, and Xavi prefers that, one touch passing, quick, bam, bam, and gone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So De Jong likes to carry the ball more. So maybe I think that's the issue that he was highlighting. And I'm sorry, I don't actually recognize the username of the guy who was speaking before me. So believe it, or I don't
Oh,
know
it's call
who
me
that
Trey,
is,
man.
but
Call me Trey.
Yeah, he's Trey.
so
He's a new guy.
yeah, yeah, sure. So I think that's what he was hinting at.
I think for me, I would go Busquets, Pedri, and Kessie because of how Kessie has been and because of how De Jong's off the ball situation is, off the pitch situation is. Sorry. So if a
Yeah.
three and if there's a 3-4-3, then I would go for Busquets, Pedri, Kessie, and Gavi for me. Because I should have addressed this while we were discussing the front three because Gavi can play on left wing as well, so he can be utilized there also. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, that'll be in a four, and in a three will be Busquets, Kessie, and Pedri. I think Busquets and Pedri will be undisputed starters, and I really hope that Nico, who has decided to stay after talking to Xavi, because Xavi said that he'll be the replacement for Busquets next season because I'm not sure. I don't think Busquets will renew after the end of
Yeah,
this
he'll
season.
probably
So
retire or go to
yeah,
MLS. Yeah.
He's
so
coming to
yeah.
Miami probably.
Yeah.
Mm.
You'd be one happy lad. Saul would be one happy lad if that happens.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, we also have some chat movements. Why have we not spent that 50 million on Sosa/Raum? Well, only one thing to say to you is that the transfer window is not over yet. There's still time, and expect to see a lot more stuff happening in the following days. Shashank says, my midfield, Pedri, Kessie, and Busquets. Very interesting. Uh, Silent Moon says, if Frankie stays, we can compete with any team. Our midfield and attack. The only issue for me is the centre back and right back situation. About the right back situation, firstly, this was supposed to be the next topic we were going to talk about. Is that the fullback situation of Barcelona? Will we have any fullbacks at all? Because some reports have been hinting for Xavi to use a three at the back. Well, currently, the only right back we are interested in is Azpilicueta. We have Serginho Dest already, and Sergio Roberto is another someone who can play as right back. Not sure if many of our fans want him to play at right back. So
I think
there's
he'll
that.
be playing actually because we have too many midfielders, no? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Sammy,
Pablo
I
Torre
like
as well.
Roberto.
yeah, Pablo
I
Torre
actually
as well.
like him.
Who?
Yeah.
Sergio Roberto
Yeah, I actually like Sergio Roberto. I
at
mean,
right
more
back.
than most people do in this day and age, but I really like the guy, actually.
Well, he has
I think
had
you're
I
the
two
think he will
great
do well.
moments.
only one. You're the only one who will say that. I think you might like his hairstyle also, like his hair color, rather, I should say, the new one. So
Well,
you're the only one.
Yeah, I think it looks good. The blonde hair, I think he's rocking it.
yeah, where I
Yeah, yeah.
stand is that I don't like Roberto, but I definitely think he is overhated because he is decent, if I may say, and he has had two great moments for the club. By great, I mean over the top, phenomenal, iconic moments for the club. One being the goal of the 6-5 remontada, that one, and the second
And the
one being,
3-2 assists.
yeah, the
3-2
3-2
assists.
versus Madrid at Bernabeu. Yeah, he had a large role to play in that third goal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
He
speaking
started
of
the whole
fullbacks,
play there. Yeah.
yeah, speaking of fullbacks, MAB, do you have any news about any other fullbacks except Alonso and Azpilicueta?
As Piliqueta, I think he will definitely come. Even though I put out an exclusive report 2 days ago. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm trying to pick up my Twitter. On Instagram, I have like 60,000 followers. On Twitter, not so much yet. I try to post every now and then, and sometimes people don't notice it. But I have it on very good authority that at least from 2 days ago. This is from 2 days ago. You can find the tweet if you want. From 2 days ago, I posted that despite what some media outlets, I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if you guys, I don't know how that copyright and that stuff works on YouTube. So I'm not exactly going to name the outlet, even though we all know who said it, that we made a 3 million bid for Aspilicueta. But I can confirm to you that's not true. Talks have been held with, of course, Boli came, and with
Mm-hmm.
Aspilicueta, there have been talks for months now, and everything is agreed, but no official bid from Barcelona or Chelsea yet. There's absolutely nothing. That's from 2 days ago. I don't know if something has changed in the last 2 days, but as for 2 days ago, there was no official bid for Aspilicueta.
So you heard the man. What about Alonso?
Alonso, I don't know, man. I really don't like the guy. I seriously don't want him. But if Xavi likes him, then I don't know. What can we say? But if we're paying decent money for him, which is around 6-7 million even, I think that for that kind of money, no. I mean, no, man. Just no.
I would rather play Mingueza, man, like not Alonso. Sorry.
Yeah. And what about your opinion where Xavi will play a four at the back or three at the back next season? I want to hear from all of you. What do you think is the correct thing to do, and what do you think Xavi will end up doing?
Let's start with Trey. Trey, what do you think?
Repeat the question for me. It's my fault.
What do you think? Like back four or back three? Xavi will play
Back.
which? Yeah.
Gosh, that's tough. For back three, of course you have to start with Araujo, who's the club's best center back at this moment. You'd have to, have at least one ball progression there. So go with probably Christensen for that. And for the other spot, I mean, it really depends on what you want. You probably want another rock solid defender in there, and maybe a combination of both a rock solid defender and a ball progressor. So I don't really know. I mean, you could slot in Eric Garcia, but he'd be another small center back in the back three, or you can slot in PK, I guess. I mean, just looking at it as a whole just doesn't look all that advertising, I guess. So
Yeah. What about you, Saul? Back four or back three?
I think it's gonna be a back four. I think the proof is too strong in Xavi. I think the back four would be. Going back to the fullbacks thing. I think this is Dest make or break year. He's gonna give him probably a month or two at the right back, and if he can't perform like Xavi expects him to, I think he's done at that position. But I think he
Yeah.
will, and I think he will get that right spot down. So yeah, I think four-man back with Dest, and then on the left Alba, who's of course
Mhm.
he might be our captain
agreed.
actually, but that's another discussion.
Yeah. What
Agreed.
about you, man? Back four or back three?
Who maybe?
Yeah,
Hello.
maybe back four.
Sorry. I was just drinking water and
Yeah, no
Yeah.
thinking
problem.
about what I was going to say here. But honestly, we have the profiles to play both in a back three and a back four because Christensen obviously does very well in a back three, and even Araujo, I think he would do very well in a back three because of multiple of his traits. But I think Xavi will opt for the back four
Yeah,
because the fullbacks they're too important for the club to overlook because either for example Dani Alves last season when he was playing as a fullback he was playing inverted and he would join up to the midfield and that would help us a lot in for example the Atletico Madrid game. And even Jordi Alba has been very important under Xavi, getting a lot of assists. And as I mentioned today, I don't know if I tweeted maybe, but Alba has been the main source of width for this team for the last 3-4 years, if you don't count last season. So obviously, Alba, I think you cannot bench Alba, and if you're going to go for back three, we'll also have to play wing backs, and that will cut into the midfield or the attack. And I don't see that happening. It could happen on occasions, but mostly I think Xavi is going to go for a back four.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, man. Also, my concern is that we haven't seen Christensen play in a back four. That is a massive concern for me. Because it's completely different to play in a back four versus a back three. And because we get exposed a lot at the back, so I will have a back four always. Because in a back three, we'll be even more exposed. Alba cannot run that fast as he used to a few years ago, until a few years ago. So it'll be weird. And if we play a back three, then whoever plays left wing, whether it's Gavi, whether it's Dembele, Rafinha, Ansu Ferran, anyone, then Alba will overlap. You remember what happened with Coutinho, right? Alba used to overlap with him on the left. Also, of course, Coutinho was playing out of position there, but still. So that'll kind of be too crowded there on the left, the attacking side of the left. So that's not what I
Yeah, no,
want.
because if you're going to play someone like Fati or Ferran, sorry to cut you there, but if
Yeah,
you're
go
going
on.
to play someone like Fati or Ferran who likes to make runs into the box, then you have to have Alba to overlap because somebody needs to
Because
be putting in the crosses.
yeah, and we get exposed also, no, on the counter. So that I think we'll have more stability in defense will be provided with the back four rather than the back three. For me, at least, I believe. So that's there. But of course, if you play Kessie in the middle, so a little bit of physicality to stop the attack from happening, kind of thing can also happen. So let's see how things work once the season starts. The good thing is that we have a lot of depth. We would still need, like a good central defender. Sorry, a good young central defender. But let's see. But I think for the season, if we sign Aspi for now, we can do with the current back line. Of course, we would need a good fullback on both sides because Alba is aging and we don't know what's going to happen with Dest. Like Saul also said, it's a make or break season for Dest. So that's a massive fullback, and there are no good fullbacks in the market. No young good fullbacks, rather, I should say, in the market
yeah,
currently.
perhaps
Galan,
next
I would
season.
argue Galan.
Galan, of
Javi
course,
Galan.
but like I'm saying that that one breakthrough kind of fullback, like a TAA or like that kind of thing that hasn't emerged until now that I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name from Aston Villa who's been linked with, who's out of contract next summer. I think that is one guy. He's a fullback, no, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not really sure which player you're talking about.
I think he's talking. He's a midfielder, if I'm not
He's
wrong.
okay. All right, all right.
On the fullback, there's Galan, and personally, I like Borna Sosa a lot from Stuttgart. I think he's he's one to watch out for because he reminds me of Alba a bit. He's not exactly a carbon copy. There's changes to his game, but mostly he reminds me of Jordi Alba. And for better or worse, I think that's a good thing. But
But
he
I
will
think
cost around 20 million.
they're asking 25 mil for him, Sosa, aren't they? But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
exactly. It's 20,
yeah,
25 mil, and
yeah,
right now the club won't pay that.
yeah.
Absolutely not, I think.
Bundesliga is a little faster than La Liga, so I'm not sure how he fits into a La Liga club because Bundesliga is a little faster than other leagues.
That's why I said Galan, because he would be my priority. I really like the guy. I think that if he is Alba's understudy for a year or so, he can take over. Of course, my preferred choice, if I had a choice and Barcelona had the budget, I would go for Jose Gaya. But clearly, that's not happening because Gaya is staying 100%.
Has he
So
renewed?
I'm
he's
so
going to renew, I think.
He hasn't done yet, no? Yeah.
But he will. His will has always been to stay. He's absolutely in love with Valencia. The situation is a bit different than to Carlos Soler because Soler maybe wants to leave. He's open to leaving, but Gaia, for the moment, I don't think that he's willing to leave. But let's see. Valencia are probably they run like a joke. To be bluntly
Yeah,
honest, so I
yeah, I
don't
know.
know. Maybe next summer he's available, so we can go for him.
One thing I don't like about Gaia is he's too rash. He gets booked a lot. That's what I do not like. He has no discipline in his game. That's
Mhm.
what I don't like
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Also, this guy Tom asks, "What about Fofana from Leicester?" Well, there have been no links
Too
with
expensive.
Barca. Sorry, maybe what?
Too
Uh,
expensive.
yeah,
Far too expensive. Because many clubs have their eye on him. Not formally, but informally. Of course, we know that clubs like Liverpool and even Real Madrid have kept an eye on him. And if we make a bid for him, Leicester are going to say something like, because he recently joined in I think 2019 or 2020. I think it was 2020. So he still has. I'm not sure of the exact date, but I think it's 2025. His contract, and Leicester being a Premier League club, of course they're going to overprice him. They're going to say give us 50, 60, 70 million, and if somehow Barcelona say, okay, maybe we're going to make a bid for him, then other clubs out of nowhere they'll come out and it will turn into a whole bidding thing. And personally, since he's been injured for majority of last season, I
exactly.
don't
Yeah.
even like the guy very
I was
much.
gonna go for like he has a lot of injury problems, so I wouldn't sign him. So yeah.
Yeah. Lucas says Kounde updates. Man, he is definitely Chelsea bound. Move on is what we from Barca are going to say to you. There are other defenders. We have talked for almost 40-45 minutes in the beginning of the live stream about possible replacements for
One thing
Kounde and
following
all
on
that.
update we have from Barca is that the club is accelerating on the sale of 20 to 30% of Barca studios now.
Oh, well, as
Yeah,
long as
Ferran,
yeah, we have the
very
majority
reliable
stake.
Ferran has said that. So Accelerate Barca is tweeting that. So yeah.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah, go on.
can I just speak here for a
Yes, of
moment?
course. Of
So
course, go ahead.
basically,
Hmm.
I think that Edward Romeo, he's the head of financials, right? I
Hmm.
think that Laporta has brought top people for the financials, and of course, it's Laporta. He's going to take risks, that's for sure. But I think that maybe because we are not sitting inside the club, and even in the statements and in all that assembly session, Barcelona did not reveal the entire details of the finances. So I don't know. Personally, I don't like to comment about the financials because inside the club, obviously there are top people, and I think that they know better how to handle it. And if Laporta is going for it, reminder, this is not Bartomeu, this is Jean Laporta, and his name obviously wields a lot of respect. And if he's going for it, I think that maybe we should not talk about it that much, as much as I've seen on Twitter, and that especially from other fan bases, because there are a lot of details in the deals that we have no idea about, and the people handling the finances, they're aware of it. And even Matteo Alemani, he keeps a very tight purse. If you're getting what I'm understanding, he does not like to spend big money unless he thinks he can. And obviously Laporta has handed the entire sporting sector to him alongside Jordi Cruyff. I don't know what Cruyff does, except he's just there for the vibes, I think. But I think that those people, they are in charge, and maybe they are better placed to give, to make the decision.
Exactly, and there are a lot of little details going on inside the deals, as you said already, that we, the public, do not know about. And of course, for obvious reasons, everything is not made public. And of course, after all, are just fans. They are actual professionals at work with the finances, so it will not be wise of us to make loose opinions on it. We can just wait and see what the outcome is, and then we can comment on the outcome, in my opinion. Hema Chandran
Yeah,
says,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Because people are saying Christensen is this, that, this defense is this and that, and Kessie is not good, and all whatever people are saying. I don't know. I have usually muted this type of stuff. But even so, I just tell them that Xavi is in charge. Xavi knows what he wants to do with the team next summer. Let him sign. You people did not want Aubameyang and all that. Remember, we did a stream actually on the day as Aubameyang's deal was happening on
yeah,
Barca Buzz. I was with you
everybody was
guys,
very
and we were all
disappointed.
saying, yeah, we were all saying that Aubameyang seriously, and now look at him. Now it's like Aubameyang, damn man, he changed our season. So I just say let Xavi get whoever he wants. If Xavi says bring us Harry Maguire for 100 million, maybe I would oppose that. But other than that, as long as moves are logical, 45 million for one of the best players in the world, and 58 million for a top winger, I think that's not completely illogical. Maybe a bit much, but it's logical. It makes sense. So give Xavi time. At the end of next season, you guys will be here, and I'll be here, and the rest of the fan base will be here. And only then can we give a verdict or talk. But until then, let the man do what he wants to do. And I think that's that.
Also,
Yeah,
what I'm excited about is that because of the World Cup coming in December, every player will be on top of his game because every player wants to get to into his country squad, no, into his 11, country playing 11. Every
yep.
player will be, at their best. Who do you think, Saul and Troy? Trey, and I'm going to ask you first this question to two of you. Who has in our current squad the most point to prove this season? Trey, I'm going to start with you.
Read it again. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. My fault.
Yeah, yeah. Saul, maybe we can start with you and when Trey is
Yeah,
thinking.
I would say Memphis. He has tweeted
Is
a
he
few
going to
days
stay
before.
partnering though? Do you think he's going to stay at the club?
Yeah, he has a lot to prove if he doesn't get sold this season, that is. If he
All
remains
right.
in the squad next season, then I think he is the one with the most to prove. Because when he was brought in, remember, under Koeman, he was the main man in attack, and later on, Xavi came in charge. He never really treated him as a star boy, and he, of course, is someone who wants to be the star of the team, who wants to be the one of the best in the team. And he
Actually,
also
you should
tweeted a
ask.
few days ago something
Actually,
very
you should ask.
mysterious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's a huge ask because he has Boba, Levy, and maybe Farhan also because he can also play as a nine in front of him. That's a huge ask. Anyway, Trey or Saul, either of you can go. Who has the most point to prove?
Yeah, I
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Probably the most approved for me this year. Uh, I maybe, and I'll probably have two people, either Frankie De Jong, or Serginho Dest. Probably because Dest's future is likely tied to this year and how much improvement he shows under Xavi in his probably or his second year, second season with Xavi leading the helm. Because if he doesn't show improvement, Barca will probably look to cash in on his value and sign another right back. And I say Frankie De Jong for obvious reasons. Big money signing a couple years ago hasn't really panned out. Doesn't want to take a pay cut to help Barca in their financial situation right now. Barca, we're looking at Bernardo Silva to really replace him. So, freaking Young probably, is my second option. I think out of those two, I think De Jong probably has the most to prove though, because it's not just about his situation at Barca; it's about really his future elsewhere. If Barca does indeed decide to still sell him by the time the season ends, and Frankie De Jong, changes his mind and wants to leave, so. Um, Probably some clubs will still inquire about him. Of course, Manchester United will. Uh, Maybe Chelsea will still, but who knows? Maybe Bayern, who knows? But uh, I think it really depends on freaking De Jong's future just moving forward. If he does decide to leave, just this season and how he performs under Xavi once again.
What about you, Saul?
okay. Most to prove. I think it's really close between De Jong, Depay, and Dest. But I think it would be De Jong. I think he's proven he loves the club maybe just as much as all of us. So I think he has the most to prove. He needs to win that starting spot. He needs to be a difference maker in that midfield for Barca, especially if under Xavi they want to compete for everything, right? So Champions League, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and so on. So I think it's De Jong, but Dest would be a close second. Like you said, Phuket, I don't think Depay is going to play enough to to really make a difference. So I think it's between those two, and I think De Jong he has to be a difference maker. Not he was good last season. I think we can all agree there, but I think he needs to be a real difference maker. One of the best midfielders in the world type in order to
yeah.
validate what it costs to the club.
What about you? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. What about you? If you're there.
Is okay. Do you guys want me to talk, or I'm sorry, I was tuned out a bit.
Yeah, no problem. It's just that who do you think has the most to prove next season?
Yeah, I know, I heard that, and I'm sorry, guys. I know I talk a bit too much, and
Not at all.
it's just
That's basically what the
yeah.
podcast is
I
for.
just have
It is for you to talk, bro. Don't
yeah. I
be.
know, you know the people watching don't hate me. I know I talk a lot, but you know I have two people clearly in my mind. One of them much clearer, and I think that would be Gerard Piqué, because for the first time in his career, Barcelona told him that if you're not going to commit 100%, you have to leave the club right now. That's for the first time in his career that Barcelona have told Gerard Piqué that. And with his, whole Shakira situation, I think that he has a lot to prove, because I think he promised Xavi that you can bring in the best center back in the world, and I will bench him. And other than that, without giving too much details away, you know, Christensen's partner, Catherine, right, Catherine Friggs. Basically, I have, you know,
Hello.
without, as I said, without giving too much away, I actually know her a bit. And hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the middle there was a slight problem. Go on.
So where was I
Yeah, you've
when
got some. You were talking about some sources. You've got news somewhere.
no, yeah, no, it was not exactly news, but Christensen's partner Catherine Friss. I don't know if you guys know her, but she recently channel as well. So I've been talking to her throughout this Christensen saga from back in April when the negotiations were at the top point and Bayern Munich were of course interested. I've been talking to her since then, and I've always got the impression that Christensen, of course, this is a dream move, but he wants to prove to the world and to everyone else that he is capable of playing at the highest level possible. So, and people are, even at Chelsea, people didn't exactly consider him one of the best. He was consistent, but he wants to take it up a level. At least that's the impression I got from her. So for me, PK would be at the top, and you can throw in Christensen, and of course, as the other guys mentioned, Frankie de Jong would have a lot to prove, and Sergio Dest too.
Okay, I'll go. I'll go.
Hey,
For me,
let me just jump in real quick here.
yeah.
I don't think I could disagree more with the PK thing. I think he's proven what he is to Barca at this point in his career. He's pretty much just depth for us now. So I don't think PK is the most to prove. I would disagree with that, but I
No,
appreciate
I
the
don't. I didn't
talk.
say that he has the most to prove. I mean, obviously, he has proven everything. He has like what 34, 35 trophies. I meant to say that wants to prove, has the desire to prove, because PK, as I mentioned, for the first time in his career, PK was almost booted from the club. So, and from everything, from all the leaks that have been coming out and all that, I think that PK is pushing to give one last top season before eventually
Yeah.
going into retirement.
Also, I mean, it's too harsh from the club side to say that to PK that okay, you're done. I think that's way too harsh to treat a legend like that. We've had enough of
Yeah,
that
of
last.
course. I love PK. I
Yeah,
even
but
have a poster of PK in my bedroom. So
yeah,
that's how much I
yeah.
like the guy. So,
I mean, I agree with his personal problems. I agree with his business propositions and the Davis Cup and everything. He's involved in a lot of things. He's an entrepreneur and el presidente of Barca in the coming decade. I agree with all of that, but it's just a little bit harsh from the club to treat him like that. Anyway, for me, the most for the player who needs to prove, I believe, not that he wants to, but he really needs to, would be Ansu Fati because of the hype
Yeah.
around him. Because of the hype, like he's Mbappe Holland level of sorts. Everyone, he's like the breakthrough youngster of the next generation of football players, something like that. And of course, he's wearing the number 10 jersey of Barca. That adds a lot of pressure in itself as well. And of course, he has been injured by no fault of his own. Tend to see a lot of African players who have migrated to Europe or whatever. They tend to get injured a lot for some reason. I don't know why that happens. Anyway, it does. Um, so I think he has a lot to prove. He has to fight for his place in the team in the attack because we already have an overcrowded attack with Levy, Oba, Memphis. I'm not sure his future. Of his future, Dembele, Rafinha, maybe Abdi and Elias are also there. Of course, they won't replace Fati, but they're still there. Gavi can also play on the wing. So Anzu has a lot to prove. He has a lot of pressure, I believe, and this World Cup coming in, he has been included in the Spain squad in the friendlies that happened, I think, last month or 1.5 months ago, something like that. But he did not play a minute. He was just getting the feel of returning to the international level and how it is and stuff like that. He was on the. I think he was not even in the squad in the first two games. He was on the bench in the third game, something like that was there. But anyway, I think he has the most to prove because of the hype around Ansu Fati, because of his injury problems, because of how careful the club has handled, because of the reason that he did not go for the operation when he got his last injury. I'm not sure whether he did the right thing or not. We'll get to see that,
Time will
and
tell.
the club will be very careful with him because they do not want another setback, another relapse, whatever. So, and with the World Cup coming, like I mentioned, and Rafinha Dembele probably started ahead of him or something. Although he did score a wonderful goal against Inter Miami, even the small club friendly, no pressure there. He played very well, but I think he has the most to prove. So yeah,
Yeah, probably. So, Shashank says Dembele has to prove this season to get a spot in the French national team. Yes. And
yeah,
by the
definitely.
way,
Spot on.
Guys, I think it's time for us to wrap up today's video. We will come live again on Sunday, either immediately after the El Clasico match or later in the evening around the same time. I hope MAB can join us then too. If not, we shall coordinate.
The Clasico game is at like 8 a.m. for me, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
it is
later that
8:30
night.
a.m. but 8:30
yeah,
a.m.
I
Classic.
think we can sort it out
I've
later.
I've never seen an Classico happen at 8:30 a.m. Indian time. It's weird
Yeah.
to start.
Yeah.
So yeah, either
Yeah, man.
way, guys, we will be back with more news on the current transfer saga in Barcelona. And oh wait, by the way, Silent Moon says, by the way, when do you think we will sign a centre back? Because we shouldn't take so long. Well, there is time till the transfer window closes. Expect more news in the following days. Maybe by Sunday we will have more solid leads on someone new.
It will be
Proper,
soon
yeah, it will be soon.
because the
So
club is trying to complete the squad. The last three operations basically that were planned were, and of course, if De Jong left, then maybe Bernardo Silva could have been thrown into the mix. But as Pilipata, he's almost tied up. No formal offer yet, as I mentioned, but Chelsea will let him go. For Alonso, I don't know. Chelsea seem to be willing to let him go because obviously I would. I would be willing to let him go. But and other than that, the third centre back, I don't know who becomes the main target, but whatever is the case, Xavi would like to experiment with the full squad as soon as possible. So
yeah.
maybe by the end of next week, we will have another signing or two. That's what I feel.
Okay, and Clevy says, what about Lacroix? Um, what about him? I don't think we have had any links with him. Lacroix or Lacroix, whatever he is pronounced as. Have we, maybe? Do we have any links with Lacroix?
No, nothing really. Just some. For example, this guy mentioned the name of Lacroix. It's come up like that, but I don't think the club's genuinely shown any interest in the guy. I played with him on FIFA because obviously I think he's a bit of a popular FIFA prodigy. But other than that, no concrete links as of now. The club will maybe they will look into it again, but as of now, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, so no leads as of now. And Barcelona, yeah, go ahead. Hello. Yeah, so I think this is our cue to wrap up tonight's episode. Join us again on Sunday for more transfer news, more post-match analysis of the El Clasico, and everything that's buzzing with Barca. This is where we sign out. Forza Barca, Vica El Barca, and we will see you guys again very, very
Yeah, one
soon.
last thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go on.
I just since you brought up the topic of the El Clasico, for all the people watching and who are going to watch this and all that, I'm just going to say to you guys, don't take preseason as serious as everyone is because the
Yeah,
club will obviously try to hype it up because they want money, they want people to watch, and they want to sell the tickets. But in reality, preseason means absolutely nothing because we're not going to be like the Madrid fans who spam that shirtless photo of Ronaldo in that goal he
yeah,
scored
yeah.
against us back in the preseason game back in 2017. We're not going to be like that. I don't care if, of course, I would like to see some players in action, especially Lewandowski. But I don't care if we win 4-0. I don't care if we lose 4-0. It's preseason. It's called preseason for a reason. And honestly, watch the game, enjoy it, and that's about it. Don't give too much thought to it because preseason there's a huge difference in as to what happens in preseason and in the season. And I will give you the main example of Rafinha and Carlos Perez, the two people who always seem to show up in preseason but could not make a career out of it. I think Carlos Perez is headed back to La Liga now from Roma, and he showed a lot of promise in preseason as well, but it amounted to nothing. So basically, don't make too much noise of the preseason. Watch the game, enjoy it, and just forget it and move on.
Exactly. Keep that in mind, guys.